You can find this course on schooldesign.net. Join on Facebook website and group. The full course you can watch on Udemy. You can find course and files on patreon.com. The full course you can watch on Skillshare. And now we have construction 11. This is how it looks finally. It's rendering landscape. As you can see, it's some kind of tower, organic tower with some tube in the middle connected with the side wall. So mostly we'll use all the plugins that you know till now. The floor on the left and on the right sides will be quite easy to do. The most time we will spend on connecting the tube together with the side wall. So this is something that will be new and could be some problematic, especially for not an experienced user. So this is why we will spend most of the time adding the shape for it. Okay, so we can start first with the profile. So here you can see all the dimension. The profile is quite easy to do. After that we need to draw the circle. I will just only give you the information about 24 edges, and of course I will count the radius, and the dimension for it is, let me check, 5.98 meters. After that you can do follow me to swipe the profile on the circle. The next you need to remove the middle one, the middle area. So first you need to draw 2 lines, something like I have on the screen. Then you need to extract it and make extrude. Then you need to create the surface with this extrude. As you can see, this is how it looks. For example, you can use HS power bar for that. After that you need to select everything, choose intersect models and remove the middle one. After that we need to use FFD 3x3 and we need to rotate the upper floor. Of course you need to also remove the upper and the bottom surface that you can see just here. You need to have a gap because during the rotation the surface will be probably problematic. After we have the rotation, then we just draw the rectangle, and we need to add the rectangle on the bottom and on the top and divide it into 20 to have 20 floors. After that we also need to select everything and intersect with model. After that we select the one sides, we apply the glass material, and when you have glass material you need to also remove all the softened edges, and then we need to select all the vertical lines. So we can use S for select. We need to select the axis and tolerance something about 20. If you have too much edges, you can remove them by use the keyboard with the shift or control, and after that we can add the profiles to the line. I use the profile 0.10 with the circle shape. What is also necessary, we can just hide the glass and we can add the thickness with joint push-pull to add the floors. And this is how the model will look till now. So this was quite easy because we practiced all of these steps in the previous lessons, so this is something that should be very easy for you. After that, I also copied the surface from the middle, and we also need to add some circle in the middle. When we finish with that, the next step is of course to add the extrude for our circle. So we will just create something like tube. This is mostly used because we need to create the holes in both surfaces. So now we can select the tube and both surfaces, and we can add the intersection with selection, and the same on the right side, intersection with selection. And now we can remove the tube to see the holes inside our surface. The next thing that we need to do is to remove the both elements outside the surface. So it means that we need to remove the tube on the left and on the right side, and we have only tubes inside. So now we will just make the copy of this tube, and I will move it by 50 on the right side. Now I can remove everything that is inside the surface and also make the hole inside. And the next step is to add the scale for each of the tube. So I select each of them individually, and I need to rescale the size. So the first one, you must be sure that you only rescale them and you don't change the position, because later it will be quite problematic to add it to the same location as it was at the beginning. Okay, so we have right now 3 tube, but they are smaller. So first we need to select all of them, and we need to move the position back as it was at the beginning, because we need to place the tube in between those surfaces. So I will also convert those elements into the components, because it will be quite easier. Then I will just copy the surface to the same position as our components. Okay. Then I need to move the keyboards to be sure that they are at the same position. Now I will just move it to the same position as the tube, and we need to cut the tubes from both sides. So to do this, I will just move the surfaces, both surfaces, to the tube, because I will use them as our cut surface. So this is the first side, and the opposite one, the right side, also we need to move to the middle. Maybe I will just adjust the first surface and the second one. Okay, something like this should be okay. Now we will just select everything, and we can create the intersection. Then we can remove all the surfaces because we only need to have the tube, but also the part that is in the middle. I will also remove all the surfaces inside. Now we need to select our tubes, and we need to move the position to the left to be sure that we just add them in the center of the hole that we have in the surfaces. Okay, now we can remove all the unused curves. And now what we need to do is to create the curve for creating the radius. So first I need to add the selection plane, and when you have the section plane we can use BZ toolbar, so it's mean the Bezier, and we can draw the line. And I need to draw those lines for each tube from both sides. So for each tube there will be 4 curves. You must be very careful if you draw the line, because sometimes you will notice that the curve is not in one direction but it is bended, so you must be very careful with that. Okay, let's we see. So here we have 2 examples of wrong curve because they are bended. This is what I talk about. So we need to go back to the section, and again we need to draw the line, but this time to be sure that they are in one direction, they lie on the one plane. We can use the keyboard to lock the axis how we draw the curve, and we also need to zoom in really close. Okay, this one again wrong. I need to remember to lock the axis. Okay, now it should be correct. Then if we are sure that we have all the curves, I just still need to draw additional one to the center tube. Remember to zoom in if it is really necessary. Okay, so this one is correct. Then the next one we also need to zoom in. Yeah, now it should be great. So now we are ready to add the surfaces because we have all the necessary curves. So we need to use the curve loft, and we need to select each of the curve. Okay, and thanks to that we have surface in a correct position. We need to reverse the side. We also need to explode it, and we need to do the same for each side. Probably in some situation you will get the error, so it means that surfaces will be in the wrong direction. So mostly this is because the circle that we select is treated as a one curve. So as you can see, or just right here, each treat as a one curve, but we need to use only half of them. So the best solution here will be to add the curve that will separate the circle into two curves, the left one and the right. Then it will be quite easier for us to select all the edges for creating the surface with the curve left. So now you can see that Sketchup will only select half of the circle. We accept the surfaces. We also need to reverse and explode it. After that we can select all of the surfaces and we can add the smoothness to remove all the sharp edges. And we need to also move the slider. Okay, so this is the process how we can add the custom radius, and we need to repeat all these steps for each side of the tube to get the same result everywhere. Okay, so this is how we should do this. Sometimes we need to divide this circle into two different areas. We need to explode everything, and after that we need to select all of the surface and add the softness. So as you can see here, I also need to redraw the curve for the radius because there was no connection between them. And we need to also remember to reverse sides and to add the smoothness for all selecting surface, but this is what we will do at the end. Okay, now this should be the last one, and as you can see, still problem with the curve, so I need to redraw it again. And the last one. Okay, now we can select everything and we can of course add the softness for all surfaces. So this value should be okay. After that we need to we can also remove the section plane and we can move the surfaces to the building to edit those organic shapes into the center. Okay, so I will just make it as a component, and now we can move it to the left side. We can use the value or we can move it with the mouse. So again, because there was some issue with that. Okay, and as you can see, we have the organic building. It was quite easy to do. We use all the plugins that you already know from the previous lessons, so this should be quite easy to do for you.